Hi, my name is Rajaram and most of you may be knowing me over the years as Field Application Engineer for GeForce division in NVIDIA. Modern GPUs, as we know, are technology marvels. It is the engine for large industries from design, cloud, artificial intelligence to scientific computing. But it is the gamers and the insatiable demand that is driving force for GPUs. Last year, during this very same time, polling their GPUs to create the largest distributed computer ever, a million gamers united to counter-strike COVID-19 coronavirus. The result? 2.8 exaflops, 5 times the processing power of the world's largest supercomputer to simulate the virus and how it affects a human cell. Today we are going to talk about advancing and pushing the boundaries of computer graphics from science to industries to arts. Computer graphics has made a profound impact on the world, and for that we are privileged to have contributed. We are going to talk about gaming and the infinite ways that gaming is expanding. GeForce PC gaming is large and thriving ecosystem. It is open and rapidly advancing technology combined with amazing creativity and the community that makes the magic. Anyone can be a broadcaster now. Add a GeForce card, you have a professional broadcast station. Pros stream their practices. Experts stream the tips and tricks. Friends stream to friends just to hang out. There are over 20 million streamers today. Gamers have become a new art medium. In Minecraft, gamers can build their work of art, and through all of the above examples, the cafes and our cafe partners are connected as one place where games and gamers can realize all their needs even if they do not possess the fastest PCs at their home. Today we are going to talk about 3000 series GPUs from NVIDIA based on Ampere GPU architecture. Seeing the ultimate limits of rasterization approaching fast, NVIDIA focused its intense efforts over the past 10 years to realize real-time ray tracing on a large scale with introduction of RTX 2000 series approximately 2.5 years ago. Now we have reinvented computer graphics with a brand new GPU architecture, but it is so much more. RTX GPUs have 3 fundamental processors: the programmable shader that was first introduced over 15 years ago, RT core, or we call them as ray tracing cores, to accelerate ray triangle and ray bounding box intersections, basically generating imagery which is difficult to differentiate between real and computer generated one. Third processor is an AI processing pipeline called Tensor Core, is the foundation for modern AI, or we call them as artificial intelligence. AI is the most powerful technology force of our time. Computers that learn from data and write software that no human can. The advances are nothing short of breathtaking, allowing you to do artificial intelligence in real time. Here's a challenge. Real-time ray tracing is far more beautiful, but requires a lot more computation per pixel than rasterization. So the solution is to retrace fewer pixels and use artificial intelligence on tensor cores to upres to a higher resolution and boost frame rates. One such feature for gamers is called as DLSS. DLSS stands for Deep Learning Super Sampling. Now DLSS took nearly 2 years of intensive research. We built a supercomputer to train our networks. The DLSS model is trained on extremely high quality imagery. Once trained, the model is downloaded into your PC via GeForce Experience into your drivers. Take a look at the images. DLSS is sharper than native 4K with more details than native rendering. The best part is the frame rates are higher now. Tensor cores effectively give RTX a 2x performance boost. Let's look at the frame trace of a game to see the processors of RTX in action. Adding ray tracing to image dramatically increases the computation workload and reduces the frame rate. We added RT cores, that is ray tracing cores, which reduces shader workload by up to 60%. Even with ray tracing cores, the amount of time consumed is significant. So the ray tracing cores and shader cores have to run concurrently. Even then, 20 milliseconds is only 50 frames per second and still a step back in performance relative to previous generation. This is where Tensor Core and DLSS come in, rendering to a lower resolution, then using artificial intelligence and super fast tensor cores to effectively double your frame rates. Now you can get ray tracing, high resolution and high frame rate at the same time. That's magic of 3 processors in RTX running at the same time. Turin was our first generation RTX GPU combining ray tracing, programmable shading and artificial intelligence. The flagship Turin had a ton of processing power, but Ampere is a giant leap in performance. Second generation Ampere architecture GPUs are nearly 2 times faster in every aspect. Built on Samsung 8nm with 28 billion transistors. Connected to Micron's new G6X memories, the fastest memories ever made. Ampere is an incredible 2 times the performance and energy efficiency of Turin. Now talking about gamers. Gamers are one of the most important or competitive people we know of, and how to become even more competitive is what they strive for. Now talking about games. Esports games holds a very special place in life of gamers in India, and esports is all about milliseconds. Every millisecond dictates if you win or lose in such competitive games. Best possible reaction time or lowest possible latency is in competitive games allows the PC to respond faster and enabling them to play with greater precision. Now measuring this latency has previously been virtually impossible for gamers to do, requiring thousands of dollars worth of specialized equipments in terms of high-speed cameras and other equipments. Let me explain. This is Valorant, a very fast game, and the characters are traveling at breakneck speeds. A gamer can see his opponent only for around 180 milliseconds, which is just enough to keep yourself alive. A typical gamer has a reaction time of approximately 150 milliseconds. You can only hit the opponent if your PC adds less than 30 milliseconds, but most gamers have latencies far greater than 30 milliseconds, many up to 100 milliseconds. This is where NVIDIA Reflex, a new suite of technologies that optimizes and measures system latency across GPU, GPU, mouse and display, comes to the rescue. NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency Mode, a technology being integrated into popular esports games such as Apex Legends, COD Warzone, Fortnite, Valorant, that reduces your latency by up to 50%. Thousands of gamers can reap the instant benefits of NVIDIA Reflex across games like Valorant, Fortnite, Destiny 2 by improving the reaction times. A faster graphic card delivers higher frame rates that let you see things earlier and give you a better chance of hitting your target. There is a definite correlation between higher frame rates and higher KD ratio. A KD ratio actually stands for kill to death ratio. You can see an improvement in KD ratio or kill to death ratio from 21% at 80 frames per second to a whopping more than 85% as your frame rate improves from 80 to 160 plus frames per second. And the most important gear here for high FPS is a better GPU. That is why players with better graphics cards average higher kill to death ratios compared to others. When it comes to iCafes, where most esports scene is active in India, NVIDIA Systems delivers the ultimate competitive advantage for gamers, be it lowest latency or best responsiveness via NVIDIA Reflex or higher frame rates, powered by NVIDIA Ampere architecture based 3000 series GPUs. And when you combine it with G-Sync gaming monitors, you get the best out of all the worlds. Gamers can acquire targets fast, react quicker, increase aim, and improve their kill to death ratios. It's more like frames will win you more games or frames win games. As we are speaking about games, gamers and iCafes, we need to touch upon a couple of points which are very important for gamers and gaming cafes. As you move through a world in a game, GPU memory, that is VRAM, constantly transfers texture, shaders and geometry via small CPU to GPU transfers. With ever-growing size of modern game assets, this results in a lot of transfers, but now assets can instead be requested as needed and sent in full. So the CPU can efficiently access the entire GPU frame buffer, that is VRAM, and if multiple requests are made, transfers can occur concurrently rather than queuing. I give you resizable power. It utilizes an advanced feature of PCI Express to increase performance in certain games. What differentiates resizable bar from competition is our feature works both on Intel and AMD CPUs. And currently there are 15 plus games which will benefit from this feature as we are recording. The last point which I will talk about is RTX 3060, which is of special importance to our cafe partners. RTX 3060 is a card which is perfect for gaming cafes where 1080p is the most used display resolution. RTX 3060 with a massive 12 GB of VRAM or frame buffer provides you with all the goodies of RTX GPUs like real-time ray tracing, artificial intelligence functions running on Tensor cores, DLSS, NVIDIA broadcast, and best of all, very good frame rates to go with your 144 and 240Hz monitors, which are standard in Indian gaming cafes nowadays. RTX 3060 is a perfect upgrade to GTX 1060 and almost 20% faster than RTX 2060. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Seth from NVIDIA. As a competitive gamer, ensuring my PC is responding quickly to my actions is critical to playing at my full potential. Frames per second has been the traditional metric used to evaluate how a PC is running. But FPS is a PC's measure of throughput, not its responsiveness. In order to understand responsiveness, I need to measure my system's latency, the time it takes for a mouse click to result in new pixels on screen. However, fully optimizing and measuring latency has been virtually impossible for gamers, until now. Today, we are announcing NVIDIA Reflex, our low-latency esports platform designed to both measure and reduce system latency. So how can we get better latency? With the release of the NVIDIA Reflex platform, we are introducing a new SDK that enables game developers to provide in-game settings to reduce system latency in GPU-intensive scenes. For top esports titles like Fortnite, Valorant, and Apex Legends that support the Reflex SDK, turning on Reflex low latency mode can give you better responsiveness, increase aiming precision, and provide you with a more up-to-date location of your opponents. In typical graphics-intensive games, the CPU queues up work in a render queue so the GPU always stays fed. While this helps maximize frame rate, it also increases latency as frames are waiting in line to be rendered. The Reflex low latency mode dynamically reduces the render queue by keeping the CPU perfectly in sync with the GPU. This mode also reduces the back pressure on the CPU, enabling games to sample mouse input at the last possible moment, further reducing system latency. The Reflex SDK also provides games the option to display metrics for game and render latency. These metrics can help you get started when optimizing for system latency. However, game and render latency is just part of the story. Your full system latency includes everything from mouse click all the way through to the display. In the past, measuring full system latency required a $5,000 high-speed camera and a modified mouse just to get started. Now, new G-Sync-powered 360Hz displays will come equipped with a revolutionary technology called the Reflex Latency Analyzer. This tech allows gamers to measure system latency, accurately analyzing how the PC responds to your actions. You can use any mouse with Reflex Latency Analyzer to get PC plus display latency. However, with a compatible mouse from Logitech, Razer, or Asus, you will be able to measure full peripheral latency and get full end-to-end system latency. To start measuring end-to-end system latency with Reflex, first take your mouse and plug it directly into the G-Sync 360Hz display. Be sure to connect the USB cable from the monitor to the PC as well. The display's Reflex USB port is a simple pass-through that watches for mouse clicks without adding any latency. And that's it for the hardware setup. From GeForce Experience, you can use the new Performance View to get real-time latency metrics. To view the latency metrics, navigate to the performance overlay options and enable the latency metrics setting. Great, we are all set up and ready to go. Let's hop into a custom map and test our latency. Reflex Latency Analyzer works by detecting the clicks coming from your mouse and measures the time it takes for the flash to happen on a particular location on the screen. That location can be moved around to best fit the anticipated flash. In this case, let's choose the assault rifle and check our position with the on-screen display of the monitor. Let's slightly adjust this to make sure that the rectangle is fully capturing the flash. This looks about right. Awesome. Reflex Latency Analyzer is able to accurately measure how long it took for the mouse click to reach the screen. In this case, the achieved system latency is about 15 milliseconds. That's about average for a 360 FPS system. On a 144 FPS system, you can expect anywhere from about 40 to 55 milliseconds of system latency. In addition to the Reflex SDK, overclocking and faster hardware are great ways to reduce latency. As part of the performance view, GeForce Experience now supports GPU tuning. The new automatic tuner finds the best overclock and maintains your GPU tuning profile for you. We highly recommend automatic tuning as the advanced algorithm is designed to fit a custom overclock to your GPU. With NVIDIA Reflex and GeForce Experience, users can accurately measure and reduce system latency with ease. Using the Reflex Low Latency mode in games and the Reflex Latency Analyzer on new 360Hz G-Sync displays, you can queue confidently into a competitive match and know that your system is both responsive and behaving exactly as it should. Check out our growing list of NVIDIA Reflex games, monitors, and mice partners on GeForce.com.